Jungkook, I still cannot believe you. Vine softly replied, Thank you. She said this when she literally thought about him as a person. He was never what she thought about him. Spoiled, maybe, but bad, never. She knew how much he liked her even before all this, and he wanted to get her. And he had the best chance to do it today in school when her skirt was torn. But he in fact helped her, and even now locked inside the bathroom. No one would even know what he did to her. It was the perfect chance. Even when she hugged him several times, he could get thousands of ideas. But he didn't do anything rather than helping her. She thought all about this when she was looking in his eyes for so long that time almost seemed to stop. She hugged him for the sole reason of not doing anything bad to her. She felt safe with him, and she didn't want to let go of this feeling. She stayed in his embrace because it made her feel that feeling that she didn't want to let go of. While Jungkook was surely confused, but he hugged her back, thinking that she is doing it because she was scared. Jungkook, no need to thank me. Just don't sleep, he said with desperate eyes and voice. Vine laughed. But I'm really sleepy, she said as she yawned. Jungkook's eyes widened as he broke the hug. You cannot do this to me. I won't let you sleep. Jungkook went towards the sink and opened the tap. Jungkook, I'll keep throwing this water on you if you try to sleep. Vine, okay, I won't, she said and came close to him, then closer and closer. He was confused, but she was trying to get close to the water so that she could throw it at him. And so she did. His clothes were wet and his eyes widened as he looked at them. These were my newest and branded clothes. How could you? Vine cut him off, saying, It's just water. You literally have more tantrums than a girl. Jungkook, tantrums? Do you even know how expensive this was? He said angrily, and she threw some water on him again while laughing. Jungkook was angrier as he threw water back on her, and before they knew it, it turned into a water war between them. She laughed, he shouted. She was happy, he was angry. But it was all fun and games until Jungkook took the shower and kept showering the water on her. And eventually she slipped because of the slippery floor, and without realizing, she held Jungkook's arm while falling, which made Jungkook fall as well upon her. Jungkook's eyes widened as he found himself lying on top of Vine, their faces inches apart. He could feel her rapid heartbeat, and his own heart raced with excitement. Jungkook looked at her for a long minute before moving his lips close to hers, but she came into senses and turned her head to the right side. Vine knew that she herself couldn't deny the fact that she was feeling things for him that she didn't want to feel. Even in this moment, she wanted to let him kiss her. She doesn't know what's wrong with her. She just needed some time to figure all of this out. Jungkook cleared his throat and he scrambled to his feet as he offered her a hand which she accepted gladly, and he pulled her up with him. Vine's eyes sparkled with amusement, and she couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of the situation. Jungkook's face turned bright red. What are you doing? He asked, trying to sound angry, but his voice betrayed his amusement. Vine giggled. You're the one who started the water war. Jungkook huffed. You're the one who threw water on me first. Vine rolled her eyes, and before he knew it, his clothes were completely drenched in water, and he looked at her with widened eyes, as if he would eat her at the moment. He slowly came towards her, his jaw clenched. Vine started moving backwards when she saw the anger in his eyes. She moved behind slowly, but she slipped again. Taking support by holding the doorknob, she rounded it by mistake, and it accidentally opened. Both of them looked at the door with narrowed eyes. Vine. It wasn't locked. Vine's life of the last few hours flashed before her eyes, and she looked at Jungkook. Her jaw clenched, her fingers curled into fists. Jungkook, why are you looking at me like that? I tried it in front of you. It didn't open. Vine shouted. Do you even know how to open a door? Jungkook was shocked hearing her. Well, This door is broken. I don't know. It's not my fault. He didn't even complete the sentence and ran outside, crossing her. She held the viper from inside the washroom and followed him outside. Jungkook laid on the couch as he was waiting for his driver to pick him up, while Vine sat in front of him on the opposite couch, her eyes constantly staring at his soul with the viper still in her hand. Vine, when the hell would you leave? Jungkook, I told you I cannot go alone. I am afraid of night. Jungkook hesitated as she raised the viper to beat him, but stopped and took a deep breath. Fine. Only if you didn't give me this coat today. They sat like that for a few minutes, and then Jungkook finally spoke. Wine. He hesitated. In the meantime, can I drink water? Wine. Shut up, she shouted, making his breath stuck in his throat. And finally he heard the horn of his car, making him take a sigh of relief. She threw the coat towards him, and he immediately got up before she could say anything else. But she still called him, Jungkook. He turned back with a weak smile. I'm telling you it wasn't my fault. I will always be grateful for what you did early in the morning. She cut him off and said, after thinking a lot about this. Jungkook's eyes narrowed. Fine. I'm sorry that I thought so bad about you in the past. I didn't know you then. Jungkook looked in her eyes as he stood straight for a long minute. Fine. But I still haven't forgotten about the bathroom door, she said as she raised the viper again, and he immediately ran outside, sitting in his car. Next morning, Vine came to school and nothing was as usual as it used to be. The whole night, she couldn't stop thinking about the moments that she spent with him in the bathroom. They held so much meaning for her, although they were just for one night. She entered the hallway, her eyes searching for him the first thing without realizing. And she went inside the classroom. She saw him there. But he was talking to a girl. Not knowing about the topic, she went to a seat close to them and sat there, where she closely see and hear them. Goyan, I thought a lot about this, and I know you're the perfect guy for this. She wrapped her arms around his neck, making Vine burn for a moment. Sa- Goyan, date me, Jungkook. At this point, you're the only one who can handle me. Jungkook scoffed, and he was about to calmly reject her, but then he noticed someone staring at him. He looked in that direction and found Vine looking at them. Vine immediately looked away, but Jungkook instantly took a few steps away from Goyan, making her hands fall away from him. Jungkook, sorry, I'm already in relationship. Vine's eyes narrowed and she couldn't hide her blush after hearing him. Somehow, she knew he was talking about her, and she was unintentionally proud of that. Goyan, you're just saying that to get rid of me, right? Who is your girlfriend? I never saw her. Jungkook smiled at her and said, she's sitting right there. He went towards Vine and stood in front of him, but she didn't look at him. She couldn't, because she was hiding her red cheeks. Jungkook offered her a hand and said, let's go, girlfriend. Goyan, after looking at them, angrily went away, and Vine raised her face to look at him. Vine, who is your girlfriend? I don't see her. Jungkook, it's you. Vine scoffed. Jungkook, why? You're not my girlfriend? Vine, obviously not. Jungkook, and you don't even want to be my girlfriend. Of course not. Jungkook, are you sure? 100%. Jungkook, then I will go accept her, he said and started walking away from her, but she immediately held his shirt. No. The one obvious word came out of her mouth before she realized it. Jungkook turned back and looked at her, smiling. Vine, don't accept her, she said, looking downwards, because she actually meant her words. Jungkook, who are you to tell me what should I do? Your girlfriend. She looked up at him as she said that. They looked in each other's eyes for a few moments before he smiled. Looking at him, she smiled too, and he moved his face close to hers without her turning her head away from him this time. She gladly accepted this. Their lips tasted each other's, their tongues going deeper and deeper as they were becoming one with each other. The students came in the class, looked at them, but they were lost. Everything else seemed to disappear as they gave themselves to each other. As they pulled back, gasping for air, they noticed everyone looking at them. Vine closed her eyes, feeling deeply embarrassed for this, but Jungkook smiled and held her hand. She opened her eyes and he said to her, let's bunk the class. Vine, why are you asking? Run. He laughed and followed her as she ran outside the class to escape the embarrassment.